In this session, we will take a look at how to use Oracle ASMCMD command line utility. It is very important to understand the $ASM views in Oracle ASM instance before we start learning about Oracle ASMCMD utility. ASMCMD is a command line utility which can be used to interact with Oracle ASM. ASMCMD can also be used to manage Oracle ASM instance. ASMCMD provides simple Linux-like commands to interact with Oracle ASM. By using ASMCMD, we don't have to write complicated SQL commands to manage Oracle ASM. ASMCMD connects to Oracle ASM instance using sysasm privilege or sysdba privilege. By default, it uses sysasm privilege. ASMCMD can run in interactive mode, or it can also run in non-interactive mode. ASMCMD provides more than 100 commands. In this session, we will discuss about few important commands, and we will try to understand how to use them to interact with Oracle ASM. I have logged into Rex1 server as grid user. Using env script, I have set up Oracle environment variables for plus ASM1 instance. Instance name plus ASM1 indicates that this is the first instance in a real application cluster. As you can see here, this is the Oracle base directory for Oracle Grid Infrastructure software. This is the Oracle Home directory for Oracle Grid Infrastructure software. Oracle System Identifier, Oracle SID, is set to plus ASM1. As you can see here, ASMCMD executable is located in bin directory under Grid Infrastructure Software Home. Using ASMCMD help command, we can get help for ASMCMD command line utility. As you can see here, ASMCMD utility can be invoked along with all these options. Uppercase V can be used to get the version of ASMCMD utility. No CP option can be used to start ASMCMD without using connection pooling option. Lowercase v can be used to start ASMCMD with the desired level of display messages, such as error messages or warning messages. Normal is the default level. Privilege option can be used to start ASMCMD with sysasm or sysdba privileges. By default, ASMCMD will connect to Oracle ASM instance using sysasm privilege. Lowercase p will display absolute path of the current directory in the ASMCMD prompt. This is very useful when navigating the directories in Oracle ASM. Inst option can be used to start ASMCMD with a connection to a specific ASM instance in real application clusters environment. Discover option can be used to start ASMCMD using discovery string obtained from the listener instead of Oracle SID environment variable. ASMCMD can run a command in non-interactive mode. ASMCMD will use environment variables Oracle Home and Oracle SID to establish connection to Oracle ASM instance. In Flex ASM cluster configuration, ASMCMD will connect to any one of the ASM instances running in the cluster. In this case, ASMCMD does not depend on environment variables Oracle Home and Oracle SID to establish connection to Oracle ASM instance. This is explaining various options which can be used while starting ASMCMD. These are the commands available under ASMCMD. Using ASMCMD-uppercase V command, we can get the version of ASMCMD utility. As you can see here, I am using ASMCMD utility version 12.102. Now, I will start ASMCMD command line utility. This is the ASMCMD command prompt. Here, we can type ASMCMD commands. Help command can be used to get help from ASMCMD utility. Earlier, we have already looked at this help. Using help command, we can get help for specific ASMCMD command. Here is the help for showversion command. Most ASMCMD commands can be executed along with optional parameters. Showversion command can accept two optional parameters: release patch and software patch. Showversion command can be used to retrieve the version of Oracle ASM instance. As you can see here, I am using Oracle ASM version 12.102. I have executed showversion command with parameters. Release patch level is the cluster level patch version. Software patch level is the patch level on the local node. Showpatches command can be used to retrieve information about patches installed on the grid infrastructure home. On this cluster, I have not applied any patches to the grid infrastructure software. Showclustermode command can be used to check if FlexASM option is enabled or disabled. FlexASM cluster is a new option introduced with Oracle 12c Release 1. As you can see here, FlexASM is enabled on this ASM cluster. This cluster has 4 nodes with FlexASM mode enabled. Showclusterstate command can be used to check if ASM instance is being patched. Showclusterstate command output normal indicates that ASM cluster is in normal operation mode. In rolling patch indicates that rolling patches are being installed on the ASM cluster. In rolling upgrade indicates that a rolling upgrade is being performed on the ASM cluster. As you can see here, my ASM cluster is operating in normal mode. Rolling patches are not being installed or rolling upgrade is not being performed on this ASM cluster. Note that invalid ASMCMD commands will show this error. Unknown command cannot be run with sysasm privilege. Notice that this error message indicates that currently ASMCMD is connected to Oracle ASM instance using sysasm privilege. Also note that ASMCMD commands and command options are case sensitive. Simple help command written in uppercase will not be recognized by ASMCMD. lsdg command can be used to retrieve information about ASM disk groups. lsdg stands for list disk groups. By default, lsdg will query $ASM disk group static view in Oracle ASM instance to provide this information. State is the state of the ASM disk group on the current ASM instance. Mounted state indicates that the ASM instance is serving these disk groups to its database clients. Type is the redundancy type for the ASM disk group. Extern type indicates that Oracle ASM does not provide any redundancy for the files in these ASM disk groups. redundancy must be handled externally at storage level. REBAL is a flag to indicate if disk group rebalance operation is currently running for the given disk group. As you can see here, currently rebalance operation is not running for these ASM disk groups. Sector is the physical block size of the ASM disk group in bytes. Block is the Oracle ASM metadata block size of the ASM disk group in bytes. AU is the size of the allocation unit of the ASM disk group in bytes. As you can see here, allocation unit size for these ASM disk groups is 1 megabyte. Total MB is the total size of the ASM disk group in megabytes. Free MB is the unused space of the ASM disk group in megabytes. Required mirror free MB is the total space required to store all required mirror copies in the ASM disk group. Usable file MB is the total space that can be used for files after accounting for space required for mirroring. Offline disks is the count of currently offline disks in the ASM disk group. As you can see here, we don't have any offline disks. Voting files is a flag to indicate if the disk group contains voting files. Voting files are a basic requirement in Oracle Real Application Clusters. As you can see here, data disk group contains voting files. Name is the name of the ASM disk group. By default, lsdg will query the $ASM disk group stat static view in Oracle ASM instance to provide information about mounted ASM disk groups from the local ASM instance. Using discovery option of lsdg command, we can force it to query the $ASM disk group view in Oracle ASM instance. This will force ASM to perform disk discovery operation. As you can see here, Oracle ASM has discovered an ASM disk group which is currently in dismounted state. Currently, strong disk group is in dismounted state in the local ASM instance. lsdg command can also retrieve information about a specific ASM disk group. As you can see here, I have executed lsdg command with data disk group name as input parameter. lsdg has retrieved information about data disk group from the local ASM instance. $g option can be used to retrieve information from all ASM instances in the cluster. This will query global the $ASM disk group stat static view. As you can see here, data disk group is mounted in 3 ASM instances in this cluster. Strong disk group is mounted in 2 ASM instances in this cluster. I have executed lsdg command to retrieve information about strong disk group. I have included -g option to query this information globally from all ASM instances. I have also included discovery option to force Oracle ASM to perform disk discovery operation. As you can see here, strong disk group is dismounted in 1 ASM instance, and it is mounted in 2 ASM instances. lsdg command can be used to retrieve information about ASM disk groups. lsdg stands for list disk groups. dsget command can be used to retrieve ASM disk discovery string, which is used by Oracle ASM instance to discover storage disks. dsget stands for get discovery disk string. This is the ASM disk string initialization parameter value retrieved from Oracle ASM instance. This is the discovery disk string value retrieved from grid, plug, and play profile. ORCL indicates that Oracle ASM lib is being used on this cluster. lsdsk command can be used to retrieve information about ASM disks. lsdsk stands for list disks. By default, lsdsk will query $ASM disk stat static view in Oracle ASM instance to provide this information. So, this command will provide information about only open or mounted ASM disks. This is the path column of $ASM disk stat static view. As you can see here, only 4 ASM disks are open or mounted in the local Oracle ASM instance. ORCL indicates that Oracle ASM lib is being used on this cluster. Using discovery option of lsdsk command, we can force it to query $ASM disk view in Oracle ASM instance. This will force ASM to perform disk discovery operation. As you can see here, I have 20 ASM disks. Using -G option of lsdsk command, we can list ASM disks which belong to a specific ASM disk group. As you can see here, these two ASM disks belong to data disk group. These two ASM disks belong to FRA disk group. Using member option of lsdsk command, we can list ASM disks which have member status in their disk header. Currently, these ASM disks are members of some ASM disk group. Using candidate option of lsdsk command, we can list ASM disks which are not part of any ASM disk group. These ASM disks can be added to any ASM disk group. As you can see here, these ASM disks are not part of any ASM disk group. These ASM disks can be added to any ASM disk group. Using -k option of lsdsk command, we can retrieve storage details of ASM disks. As you can see here, I have executed lsdsk command along with -k option and listed the disks which belong to data disk group. Total MB is the total size of the ASM disk in megabytes. Free MB is the unused space of the ASM disk in megabytes. OS MB is the size of the ASM disk in megabytes as reported by the operating system. Name is assigned to ASM disk by Oracle ASM if disk is added to a disk group. Fail group is the failure group name to which this ASM disk belongs. If failure group name is not assigned during adding a disk to a disk group, Oracle ASM will assign this failure group name. Fail group type can be of regular type or quorum type. Regular type failure group is used to store database files. Quorum type failure group is used to store mirror copies of voting files. If ASMlib is being used, then library column will contain information about the library which was used to discover the ASM disk. Label is the disk name returned by Oracle ASM disk discovery process. If ASMlib is in use, then this label is assigned using ASMlib. Redund is the ASM disk hardware redundancy. This is not the redundancy of the ASM disk group. This column provides valid information only if ASMlib can return hardware redundancy information. Path is the operating system path to the ASM disk. If ASMlib is in use, then this path is provided by ASMlib. Using -p option of lsdsk command, we can retrieve disk status information. Group number is the disk group identification number. Disk number is the disk identification number. Mount status is the status of ASM disk. Cached status indicates that these ASM disks are available in the storage and they are being accessed by Oracle ASM. This is the normal state of ASM disks when they are part of a mounted ASM disk group. Header status is the status of ASM disk as seen by the Oracle ASM disk discovery process. Member status indicates that these ASM disks are currently added to an ASM disk group as a member. Mode status is the Oracle ASM disk online or offline status. Online status indicates that these ASM disks are online and operating normally. State indicates the state of the ASM disk with respect to the disk group. Normal state indicates that these ASM disks are online and operating normally. Path is the operating system path to the ASM disk. If ASMlib is in use, then this path is provided by ASMlib. Using -t option of lsdsk command, we can retrieve disk create date and disk mount date. Create date is the date when the disk was added to the disk group. Mount date is the date when the disk was mounted by the first Oracle ASM instance. Repair timer is the time remaining until the failed disk is automatically dropped from the ASM disk group. 0 indicates that these ASM disks have not failed. Path is the operating system path to the ASM disk. If ASMlib is in use, then this path is provided by ASMlib. Using statistics option of lsdsk command, we can retrieve various metrics related to disk input-output. These are the number of reads and writes performed on ASM disks. These are the number of errors occurred during reads and writes. Time took to perform reads and writes measured in seconds. These are the reads and writes measured in bytes. Voting file contains a flag to indicate if the disk contains a voting file. As you can see here, this ASM disk contains voting file. Path is the operating system path to the ASM disk. As you can see here, I have executed lsdsk command with fra disk group name as input parameter. lsdsk lsdsk has retrieved information about ASM disks which belong to FRA disk group from local ASM instance. -g option can be used to retrieve information globally from all ASM instances in the cluster. This will query global $asm dsget static view. As you can see here, these ASM disks are mounted in 3 ASM instances. It is possible to retrieve information about ASM disks based on a search pattern. Here, I am looking for disks which contain 02 in their path name. I have also included -p and discovery options. As you can see here, lsdsk has found 2 ASM disks which match the provided search pattern. lsdsk command can be used to retrieve information about ASM disks. lsdsk stands for list disks. lsod command can be used to retrieve information about currently open ASM disks. lsod stands for list open disks. Instance column identifies the instance in which the ASM disk is currently open. Process is the process name which is accessing these ASM disks. As you can see here, all these ASM disks are being accessed by RBAL rebalance background process. Rebalance background process has connected from Oracle user in REX1 server. OS PID is the operating system process identifier. Path is the operating system path to the ASM disk. Using -G option of lsod command, we can list open ASM disks which belong to a specific ASM disk group. These 2 ASM disks belong to data disk group, and they are currently open on this ASM instance. lsod command can be used to retrieve information about currently open ASM disks. lsod stands for list open disks. iostat command can be used to retrieve input-output statistics for ASM disks. This command will query the $ASM disk I/O statistics view in Oracle ASM instance. Group name is the ASM disk group name to which the ASM disk belongs. Disk name is the ASM disk name. Reads and writes are the total number of bytes read from or written to these ASM disks. Using -G option of iostat command, we can retrieve input-output statistics for Oracle ASM disks which belong to a specific ASM disk group. As you can see here, I have retrieved input-output statistics for Oracle ASM disks which belong to FRA disk group. Using -e option of iostat command, we can retrieve read errors and write errors. Read errors and write errors are the total number of failed read and write requests for these ASM disks. As you can see here, I don't have any read or write errors. Using -t option of iostat command, we can retrieve timed statistics. Read time and write time are the total time represented in seconds for read and write requests for these ASM disks. Using region option of iostat command, we can retrieve statistics related to hot and cold regions of the disks. Cold reads and cold writes are the total number of bytes read from or written to cold regions of these ASM disks. Hot reads and hot writes are the total number of bytes read from or written to hot regions of these ASM disks. Looks like all my data is stored only in cold regions of these ASM disks. By default, iostat command retrieves reads and writes in bytes. Using IO option of iostat command, we can retrieve total number of reads and writes instead of getting output in bytes. Iostat command can be used to retrieve input-output statistics for ASM disks. This command will query the $ASM disk IO statistics view in Oracle ASM instance. spget command can be used to retrieve the location of server parameter file for Oracle ASM instance. This information is retrieved from grid, plug, and play profile. As you can see here, server parameter file for this Oracle ASM instance is stored in ASM parameter file directory under rex directory in data disk group. This is the Oracle ASM instance server parameter file name. Later in this session, we will talk about directory structures in Oracle ASM disk groups. lsct command can be used to retrieve information about clients which are using ASM disk groups which are being managed by the Oracle ASM instance. lsct stands for list clients. lsct will query the $ASM client view in Oracle ASM instance to provide this information. With lsct command, we have to provide the ASM disk group name for which we would like to retrieve information about clients. DB name is the name of the Oracle database which is connected to the current ASM instance as a client. Status is the status of the client connection. Connected indicates that these Oracle instance clients have an active connection to the current Oracle ASM instance. Software version is the software version of the database or Oracle ASM instance for the selected disk group connection. Compatible version is the compatibility setting of the database or Oracle ASM instance for the selected disk group connection. Instance name is the name of the Oracle instance which is connected to the current ASM instance as a client. Disk group is the ASM disk group name. All these clients are currently using data disk group. This information is retrieved from the local Oracle ASM instance. -g option can be used to retrieve information about clients from all ASM instances in the cluster. This will query global $ASM client view. As you can see here, 3 ASM instances are connected as clients to use data disk group. 1. Grid Infrastructure Management Repository Database instance is connected as client to use data disk group. 3. Sniper Database instances are connected as clients to use data disk group. lsct command can be used to retrieve information about clients which are using ASM disk groups which are being managed by the Oracle ASM instance. lsct stands for list clients. So far, we have looked at several ASMCMD commands which can be used to retrieve information from Oracle ASM instance using simple Linux-like commands. Behind the scenes, these commands will run complicated SQL commands to retrieve information from Oracle ASM instance. Oracle ASM stores database files in ASM disk groups. In other words, Oracle ASM is a file system for database-related files. Using Linux-like commands, Oracle ASMCMD command line utility provides access to files and directories stored in Oracle ASM file system. Now, let us take a look at how to use Oracle ASMCMD command line utility to explore Oracle ASM file system. pwd command can be used to display the absolute path of the current working directory. Just like / is the root directory in Linux, plus is the root directory in Oracle ASM. As you can see here, my current working directory is the root directory of Oracle ASM. To avoid any confusion, I will call this as ASM root directory. ls command can be used to list the contents of an Oracle ASM directory. ASM disk groups are represented as top-level directories under ASM root directory. Only ASM disk groups can exist under ASM root directory. As you can see here, we have two ASM disk groups, data and FRA, under ASM root directory. Using -l option of ls command, we can get extended list of the contents of an Oracle ASM directory. If this command is executed in the ASM root directory, then we will get the status of the ASM disk groups. Mounted state indicates that these ASM disk groups are in mounted state. Type is the redundancy type for the ASM disk group. Extern type indicates that Oracle ASM does not provide any redundancy for the files in these ASM disk groups. Redundancy must be handled externally at storage level. REBAL is a flag to indicate if disk group rebalance operation is currently running for the given disk group. As you can see here, currently rebalance operation is not running for these ASM disk groups. As you can see here, we have two ASM disk groups, data and FRA, under ASM root directory. These disk groups are represented as top-level directories under ASM root directory. Using -g option of ls command, we can list the global status of ASM disk groups from all Oracle ASM instances. As you can see here, data disk group is mounted in 3 ASM instances in this cluster. FRA disk group is mounted in 3 ASM instances in this cluster. Strong disk group is mounted only in 2 ASM instances in this cluster. As you can see here, my current working directory is the ASM root directory. I have 2 ASM groups mounted in the local ASM instance, data, and FRA. Using cd change directory command, we can navigate to a specified directory. As you can see here, I have navigated to data directory using cd command. Now, my current working directory is the data directory under ASM root directory. You can think of this location as a root directory of data dis group. I have listed the contents of this directory using ls-l command. As you can see here, under data directory, we have these subdirectories. At the end of each directory name, a / is appended to indicate that it is a directory. By looking at syscolumn, we can identify that all these directories are created by the system. This is an Oracle ASM alias. It is very easy to identify an ASM alias because an ASM alias points to an ASM file or a directory. This is a password file for Oracle ASM instance. This is the ASM file name for this password file. This is the absolute path for this password file. As you can see here, I have navigated to ASM directory using cd command. Now, my current working directory is the ASM directory under data directory. I have listed the contents of this directory using ls-l command. As you can see here, under ASM directory, we have password directory. As you can see here, I have navigated to password directory using cd command. Now, my current working directory is the password directory under ASM directory under data directory. I have listed the contents of this directory using ls-l command. As you can see here, we have one ASM file in this directory. This is a password file for Oracle ASM instance. Type is the ASM template type which was used to create this file. As you can see here, this is a password file. Redundancy column indicates that this file is not protected by Oracle ASM. Most likely, ASM disk group was created using external redundancy. This file is striped using coarse-grained striping. Let us exit from ASMCMD utility using exit command. Now, let us take a look at a very useful option of ASMCMD utility. Now, I will start ASMCMD along with -p option. when ASMCMD is started along with -p option, it will display absolute path of current directory in the ASMCMD prompt. This is very useful while navigating the directories in Oracle ASM. I have navigated to Data directory. Now, my current working directory is displayed in the ASMCMD prompt. I have navigated to Sniper directory. I have an Oracle database called Sniper on this cluster. This directory contains all the files related to Sniper database. This directory contains control files. This directory contains data files. This directory contains on-line redo log files. This directory contains server parameter file. This directory contains password file. This directory contains data files for temporary table space. These two directories contain files related to pluggable databases. I have navigated to Data File directory. As you can see here, this directory contains data files for Sniper database. Notice that these files are striped using coarse-grained striping. We can list the contents of any Oracle ASM directory by providing the absolute path of the directory. As you can see here, I have listed the contents of the control file directory. Notice that the control file is striped using fine-grained striping. I have navigated to the ASM root directory using this command. I have navigated to Data File directory under Sniper directory. Now, let us take a look at some more options of ls command. Using -s option of ls command, we can list the space information of ASM files. Block size is the block size of the ASM file in bytes. Blocks is the number of blocks in the ASM file. Bytes is the size of the ASM file in bytes. space is the space allocated for the ASM file in bytes. Using permission option of ls command, we can list the user access permissions of ASM files. Permission column is the access permissions of these ASM files. Just like Linux file permissions, this column contains read-write permissions for user, group, and others. These columns provide user and group permission information. No special permissions are granted for these files. So, these two columns are empty. I have navigated to the ASM root directory using this command. I have navigated to FRA directory under ASM root directory. We can provide relative path to ls command to list the contents of the specified directory. As you can see here, I have listed the contents of sniper directory, which is under FRA directory. We can also provide absolute path to ls command to list the contents of the specified directory. As you can see here, I have provided absolute path to list the contents of this directory. Here are few more examples of ls command with absolute path as input. As you can see here, I have used ls command with -l option and -s option and absolute path as input. This command has provided file listing along with extended information and space information for the files in this folder. I have navigated to the ASM root directory using this command. I have navigated to data directory under ASM root directory. du command can be used to retrieve the disk space usage information for the specified directory, including all its subdirectories. du stands for disk usage. Note that you should not use du command to retrieve the total size of the disk group. This is the total size of the data directory measured in megabytes. This size includes data directory and all its subdirectories and all ASM files in these directories. This does not include space used for mirroring. This is the total size of the data directory, including space used for mirroring, measured in megabytes. By default, du command will provide disk space usage information for current working directory. du command can be executed with a directory name as input. As you can see here, I have executed du command with an absolute path of online log directory. This directory's total size is 408 megabytes, and its total size, including space used for mirroring, is also 408 megabytes. Now, let us take a look at another very useful command of ASMCMD utility. Find command can be used to search for ASM files and directories. Find command requires two input parameters. First parameter is the directory path in which search will be performed. This directory and all its subdirectories will be searched. Second parameter is the search pattern. As you can see here, using this find command, I have searched for ASM files which contain sysorts in their file name. This search will start in ASM root directory and search in all subdirectories. Based on input search pattern, it found two ASM files which belong to Sniper database. These three ASM files belong to Grid Infrastructure Management Repository database. I have executed another find command to search for ASM files which belong to Sniper database and contain sysorts in their file name. I have provided the directory name to limit the search to this directory and its subdirectories. Based on input search pattern, it found two ASM files which belong to Sniper database. I have executed another find command. I have limited the search to FRA disk group and its subdirectories. Based on input search pattern, it found one ASM file which belonged to Sniper database under control file directory. We can search for specific type of files using type option of find command. Using this command, I have searched for control files stored anywhere in Oracle ASM. It found two control files which belong to Sniper database, and it found one control file which belongs to Grid Infrastructure Management Repository database. Find is a very useful command to search for ASM files and directories. Now, let us take a look at how to find which ASM files are currently open and being accessed. lsof command can be used to list all the open ASM files. lsof stands for List Open Files. As you can see here, lsof command shows a list of open ASM files. It also shows which database and instance are accessing these open ASM files. Using -G option of lsof command, we can list open ASM files which are stored in a specific ASM disk group. As you can see here, I have retrieved the list of open ASM files which are stored in FRA disk group. Using dbname option of lsof command, we can list open ASM files which are being accessed by a specific database. As you can see here, I have retrieved the list of open ASM files which are being accessed by the Sniper database. Using -C option of lsof command, we can list open ASM files which are being accessed by a specific database instance. As you can see here, I have retrieved the list of open ASM files which are being accessed by the Sniper1 database instance. I have also used -G option of lsof command to retrieve the list of open ASM files which are stored in FRA disk group. lsof command can be used to list all the open ASM files. lsof stands for List Open Files. Each Oracle ASM disk group will have disk group attributes. lsattr command can be used to list ASM disk group attributes. Using -G option of lsattr command, we can list attributes of a specific ASM disk group. Using -l option, we can list attribute values along with attribute names. Using -m option, we can list additional information such as read-only flag and system-created flag. lsattr command also accepts a search string to search for specific ASM disk group attributes. As you can see here, I have searched ASM disk group attributes which contain size in the attribute name. Notice that these attributes are read-only attributes. These attribute values cannot be changed after ASM disk group is created. As you can see here, I have searched ASM disk group attributes which contain cell in the attribute name. This attribute is valid only in Oracle Exadata environment. I will exit from ASMCMD utility using exit command. So far, we have used Oracle ASMCMD command line utility in interactive mode. Now, let us take a look at how to run ASMCMD commands in non-interactive mode. Here are few examples of running ASMCMD commands in non-interactive mode. Non-interactive mode of ASMCMD is very useful for writing complicated scripts. Most of the ASMCMD commands also provide an option to suppress header, which will not display the column headers. ASMCMD is a command line utility which can be used to interact with Oracle ASM. In this session, we have looked at how to use Oracle ASMCMD command line utility. ASMCMD can run in interactive mode, or it can also run in non-interactive mode. Non-interactive mode of ASMCMD is very useful for writing complicated scripts. ASMCMD commands can be used to retrieve information from Oracle ASM instance using simple Linux-like commands. Behind the scenes, these commands will run complicated SQL commands to retrieve information from Oracle ASM instance. ASMCMD provides more than 100 commands. In this session, we have discussed only 18 basic commands.